Hey, what's up, Dean Zip Performance? We are back. I'm sick, but it was worth it. Went to Park Omega, put it in the last video. It was sick, awesome, um, well worth the trip. So we're back, and I got boxes and boxes and boxes of parts. So I got the new water pump. This is from a 2015 Camaro. But you have to kind of be careful because they do have ones that don't have these bolt hole provisions. Just has a different shape and the outlet is over here. So you have to have the one for this. I'm trying to get the hose in. For this bracket to go on for that idler, you have to have the one with the bolt hole provisions. And then there's another bolt hole over here that's under this pulley that you have to kind of trim away. It's pretty easy to do. It's not a big deal. You only have to take like 1/4 of an inch off of it or something. Super easy to do. But I got that on the gaskets, and then I put the bracket, the lower thermostat housing, and the lower hose. That all went on. And then I started stringing the belt that came with the kit. And of course, there's not one spot that shows which belt this is. It is a Gates Micro V. I don't see the length on it. It's the one that comes in the kit. But it actually fit. Now, I don't know, and I have to look up the tension. But this tensioner is actually, when you get it, this is all the way up to 0. So this sticks, basically it sits horizontal out. Now I had to wind it all the way. It's on this 10, so I have to look up what all of this means. R and L. I don't know what all this means on the tensioner, but that belt fits. This pulley, this idler is in the tightest position, so it's all the way up to get the most wrap on the actual supercharger pulley. So you see there's, I don't know, that's probably 80% wrap on the pulley. If there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spokes, it'd be 25 each. It's at least 75% wrap. No, it's not 20. It's 20 each. So yeah, it's 80. Yeah, whatever. This one's in the loosest spot, but can be pushed over. Not much. This one doesn't go over much. It just gives it a little wrap. But being that's the bigger pulley, I don't think we're going to have an issue with belt slip. So I got that on. I got the upper hose. I basically took the factory hose that was on the car from over here. I cut 5 3/4 of an inch off. Put an aluminum spacer, which is a tube. Stuck it in. Put some T-bolt clamps. I got it on the radiator over here. The vent for the tank, I guess, like the air vent, whatever that's on. The radiator top is back on. I got the condenser back in, the clips on the radiator, so all of that is in. I got the spark plugs, an air filter. I did end up getting the LS3 MAF sensor. So it's a GM 158-65971. Then I have the IAT pigtail from 269 Motorsports. And this is a little LS3 weld-on adapter that I'm going to put in the intake tube. I have the intake tubes back there. I have the heat exchanger. The thing is thick, boy. So it's more of a radiator in a sense than it is a heat exchanger. Heat exchanger is more like your condenser. This is more of a radiator. So I'm going to get that mounted on there today. I'm going to get everything on the top side done. The plugs, the IAT sensor. So of course I was interrupted. 5 minutes, interrupted for 20 minutes, but it's all good. But like I was saying, I'm going to get everything on the top done. Plugs, plug wires, O2 sensors, IS sensor, all that good stuff. And then I'm going to work on mounting the radiator heat exchanger for the supercharger intercooler. So I'm going to get on that. And then the last main thing I have to do is drop the tank and swap out the fuel pump. That is the big thing left to do. I already put the coolant in it. So I'm going to get on that and come back toward the end of the day. It's about noon right now, so I'm going to get on it. I do have to order a new pigtail for the MAF sensor. It is the different style, which I wasn't sure 100%, but now I verified that, so I got to order a different style. But I'm going to get on the rest of this stuff, and I will be back. Okay, so I got a lot done. Everything up front is pretty much done, minus like the add-on stuff, the catch can, the reservoir for the intercooler, which I think I found a good mounting spot for it over here. And I'll pull the wire loom out of the cylinder head. I'll use a bolt for the cylinder head and mount the catch can to the cylinder head or the reservoir. That gives me a high point. I have to order 2 3/4 inch like barb weld bungs so I could weld them into the tank. And then what I'll do is I'll take this hose here and I'll cut it. I'm going to pull it up and over, tie it off to the side over here with all the other heater hoses and stuff. That'll give me a little bit of length. I'll come one in the back, and then I'll probably take this hose out from underneath of everything down in here and come in the front with one of those barbs. That'll tie off and give me a somewhat of a high point. It won't be the highest point, but I can't get anything higher than the inlet and outlet on the brick. So that'll give me a pretty good high point. If I fill it enough, should be good. So plugs, wires, all done, gapped, NGK, BR7, EF, pretty sure it's EF, like a turbo plug. Factory wires back on. They all clear the headers, which is like super nice. All that is done. I got this O2 done. It's taped up, running down. It's zip tied, or no, actually it is P-clamped up to the firewall right there. I just added a nut, the P-clamp in the nut. That's good on that side. This side, I followed, this is the loom for it right here, so I followed this wire to, I'm not sure what that one's for, I don't remember. The AC, the clutch, the AC clutch. So I followed that down. You can see it down in there. It goes underneath of everything over to the O2 sensor. So that's in, done. Throttle body, I extended from over here all the way under and into the throttle body. So that's done. IAT sensor's done. That's this little harness running back. That's on. The only thing left is I do have to change the plug. Like I said, I have to change this plug from like your truck style MAF sensor to the LS3 or 7. But I made this tube basically a straight with like just under a 45 degree little piece of straight 4-inch filter. The LS3, LS7 I say MAF sensor, the little weld on bung, that's done. Then I shot it with some like the heat paint. So worst case, if I have to tug it off, I'll powder coat it like this kind of color red, more like candy apple red, something like that. I'll powder coat it. So yeah, now the biggest things I have to do, and the reason I did this is because I have to build this cover, but I'm not going to be able to build the cover and not knowing where the air filter needs to be, because that needs more room. So now I can go ahead and kind of lay out the cover. What I'm thinking is to put a break in it and have it slide under here. Or I could leave it flat to this, kind of come down a little bit, put a break in it, and go under the air filter, and then just put some tabs to mount it. The only thing I got to watch out for are the hood hinges. Oh, okay, there we go. So I got to watch out for the hood hinge drops below this height. So I'll have to watch for that, which could just be a little notch in the plate. It just needs to direct as much airflow as possible through the radiator itself. What else? Then, like all the little things, I adjusted the power steering reservoir. It's off. It wasn't touching the belt, but it's off the belt even farther. I adjusted the heater hose. You have to kind of roll it down to get it away from the pulley a little bit. Blah, blah, blah. That's pretty much it. So for today, pretty much done. My plan tomorrow is to get this plate done. That filter shows up way redder. Oh, so does the car. Filter is actually a pretty close color to the car. Anyways, my plan tomorrow is to get this plate done. And then whenever that comes in, but I'll be able to fire the car up. I can run it mathless. I got to change the pump. Two big things left to do. Pump, fuel pump, this plate, and then it's just a little catch can, reservoir. That's pretty much it. But all the hoses are hooked up. I got to wire up the pump, which I'll probably just do like a fuse tap. That's how all these kits seem to be, the intercooler heat exchangers kits, whatever you want to call them. Pretty much how they seem to be is they just use a wire tap, or a fuse tap, sorry. So I'll find whatever fuse it is in the instructions. I'll get a fuse tap, stick that in there, and that'll work the pump. So key on, pump comes on, basically. Yeah, so a lot done. Little things to finish up. Then I can mount the hood on the car, make sure the hood clears everything, make sure I did it right, which I think it will, because the hood's got a pretty good sized bulge in it. I'm just worried about this tube where it's sticking out. I don't think it has enough in the front, but I don't know. It might. It's got a pretty good bulge in the front. I haven't taken any of the plastic off it yet. So it may. It might. It does have a pretty big bulge. It might work. We'll see. Yeah. So for now, wow. Appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, leave me a comment. See you in the next one.